Hello there. Well, in the first video, we talked about the overview of secure access. I showed you different components of the UI. And now today in this video, we're going to talk about the users and groups, how to provision them. So basically to start with, so once you add users and groups to secure access, right, you can protect and monitor the traffic sent from the user devices and manage the resources that are available to the users in your organization. In order to configure anything related to users and groups, you need to go to connect on the left-hand side. You see it, right? And you'll see these three options. You select the second one, which is users and groups. So go ahead and click on it. Okay, this is the page where we go ahead and provision the users. And as you can see, I already have provisioned three users. The first one's name is Beautiful. The second one, the Network Viking, and the third one is TNW. Right, this is the same place where we go ahead and provision groups as well. This tab that you see right here. All right. So with the groups, let me just tell you that you can import no more than 200 groups into a secure access organization. Right, so that's a limit, at least at the moment. And once added, users and user groups can then be added to an access rule. So it's very important to go ahead and provision the users, right? So I'm going to show you how to add them to an access rule, but possibly at the end of the video or in an upcoming video, right? So the second column talks about the email addresses. And these are the email addresses associated with these users. Then I got source. What is source? Well, this is the method or identity provider used to provision the user. The first one shows up as manual. Well, I used the CSV file to go ahead and import the user Beautiful into the dashboard, and therefore you see it as manual. We got Azure and Azure for the second and the third user. We have another way as well, which is Active Directory. I'm going to show you all of this. Um, then we got connected VPN, which is the number of connections made from VPNs. And then we have enrolled ZTNA. And this is the number of connections made from a user and device managed by Secure Access Zero Trust. Then we talk about associated rules. Well, the secure access policy rules that include the user are mentioned here. For example, the first user is associated with two rules. Then you'll see 2 here instead of 0. If the second one is associated with 3, you'll see 3 right here. And if it's 0, you'll see 0, as you can see right now. Okay, let me just go ahead and clear the screen. It's messy. And before we proceed, let me tell you, if you want more details on the user, you can click on the username itself, like you can click on Beautiful or the second user or the third user accordingly and get more information about these users, like the events, associated rules, IDP, and so on. And if you click on the groups tab, if I click on it right now, you'll find that there are no groups in there. Therefore, you'll find that it says no matches found. I have not provisioned any groups. Now, in order to go ahead and provision users and groups, or even for SSO authentication, you can just go ahead and click on this link right here, which has configuration management. So let me just go ahead and do that. Okay, on this page, we have two major sections. The first one is provisioning, and the second one is SSO authentication. I just expanded the option Azure. Apart from Azure, we have manually added, and we have Active Directory as well. As you can see, we can expand these as well. At the moment, I've just expanded Azure because this is the first configuration I want to show you. You just need to make sure that you copy these two things over to your IDP, and the rest, the majority of the work needs to be done on the IDP, which is also not that much. So it's pretty simple. Go ahead and click on generate to generate a token, which again, you will not be able to see that again here. So therefore, as it says right here, it is only displayed once and is required when configuring your IDP. So in case you lose your token, you can go ahead and click on generate again, but then you'll have to use the new token in your IDP for provisioning, right? The second thing is the URL. As it says right here, copy and save this provisioning URL. It's required when configuring your IDP. Once you've made a note of these two things, you can go ahead to your IDP and get that side of the configuration done. So let's go ahead and check that out. Let me clear the screen and okay, so here it is your, if you want to add a new or create a new user, not add a new user, create a new user, then you can go ahead and click on Microsoft Entra ID. Once you've created the user, you can add that user to your application using Enterprise Applications option that you see. So if I go ahead and click on the Microsoft Entra, okay, so once you land on this page, you can just click on this add option right here and then go ahead and create a new user, click on that and get a new user created, right? Okay, and then you can go to your enterprise application. As you see right now, I went to my enterprise applications that are application that I've created for user management. And on the left-hand side, you'll see there's an option for users and groups. You can just go ahead and click on that. Let me just go ahead and click on it. So you'll find I got these two users, and as I had mentioned, the third user was imported using the CSV file. Now for these two users, these are provisioned. I've added these two users here. Now, if I want to add more users, I just click on add. Not sure if you saw that correctly. So this is the option, add a user slash group. Okay, so this is the one you need to click on. And then you got to click on none selected. Okay, so this right here. Okay, so you can just go ahead and click on it. Okay, so I just went ahead and searched for Drogon, as you can see in the search bar right here, and then I selected the user Drogon, which I have actually invited. This is an external user basically. So as soon as I select it, I can go to the bottom. As you can see, there's a button which says select. So I can go ahead and click on that. And as you can see on the left-hand side now, it shows that one user selected. So that's it. I can go ahead and click on assign that you see at the bottom left corner, right? I click on assign and that's it. Now you see Drogon here. Okay, let me just clear out the screen. Okay, now once we're done with this, we can go ahead and provision Drogon as well. In order to do that, I just need to go ahead and click on this provisioning option right here. Okay, so let me just go ahead and click on it. All right, provisioning. There you go. Okay, so once you're here, okay, it says that two users are already provisioned. But again, I need to provision the third one as well. Now, I can do a provision on demand, that option that I see right here, provision on demand. I would recommend going for provision on demand because it's super quick compared to if you have enabled automatic provisioning. That's going to take some time. So I'd recommend going for provision on demand, and that's what I do. So let me just go ahead and click on provision on demand. And now I can just search for Drogon, and this is the user. I want to go ahead and provision quickly selected user. And then on the bottom left, again, I can click on provision and get it done. So clicked on provision. Okay, and it says that we're looking good. It's all success, and therefore we should see this user now in our dashboard in the Secure Access. So let's move back to Secure Access dashboard and confirm the same. Okay. All right, perfect. We see 4 users now. We see that Drogon has been added as well. It has been provisioned as well. So success there. Let's go back to the configuration management section where we're going to go ahead and try to do the same manually for a different user now. Okay, so we're back at the configuration management, and manually added is the section that I've expanded. Now I deleted the previously added CSV file, so we can just go ahead and click on upload a new CSV and go ahead and do it. But before that, you should know that this will override any previously imported CSV files. So just keep that in mind before doing it. And I'm also going to show you how to add new entries in your CSV file. So let me just bring that up. So when you download the template, it looks like this. It's going to tell you that, hey, it needs the SN, the given name, a user principal name, male, and member of. So you can just mention the details here. I want to add a new user. Well, let's say that new user is, uh, let's say temp, like a temporary user, right? So the user principal name is going to be temp at, for example, cisco.com. And then you have the mail, which will be again temp at cisco.com. I'm going to keep it that way. And let's say it's a member of TNV group. And that's pretty much it. Once you go ahead and upload this, save this and upload this file over to your Secure Access dashboard, you should be able to see temp there. So let's go ahead and try that out. So I'm just going to go ahead and say Control S as in save the file. And yeah, let's go ahead and do it. As you can see, I've uploaded the CSV file. And now we're going to go back to users and groups. If we just click on this users and groups section from here that you see, let me just go ahead, change the font on this a little bit. Yeah, you can click on this users and groups to go back to users and groups, and there we should be able to find temp as a new entry added. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, perfect. Now we see that we have temp in here as well. So one more user added. The first one we added was Drogon, and the second one we added is temp. The first one we added using Azure. We've seen how to do that. The second one we did manually using the CSV file. Now let's go ahead and clear the screen. Let's see. So I went ahead and completed the configuration of the Active Directory. I'm going to show you that. But before that, let me just show it to you that this one's from Active Directory. This one's also from Active Directory. Basically, for Active Directory, you see on-prem right here. This one, this one, this one, and the last one right here. Well, you're gonna need OpenDNS space connector. Well, this is the username that is required on your Active Directory domain controller for the setup to be successfully completed. As you'll see on the user guide, these points are mentioned as well. There are prerequisites as well that are mentioned, and I highly recommend going through that. I'll mention the link in the description for that, for the prerequisites, as well as making sure that the this particular user, the OpenDNS connector user, is there. All right. So let me just go ahead and show you the Active Directory configuration, how I configured it from this end, and the server itself. Let me just show it to you real quick. And right now I'm actually going to click on provision users just to show you the options from the very scratch, the options that I configured, because from configuration management, you're not going to get that feel. Okay, so that's why I'll go through provision users to show you that, because it shows you, every single option that you need to configure, basically. It gives you that raw feeling, like you're configuring it for the first time anyways, right? Even though I've configured it. So yeah, let's go ahead. Okay, as soon as I click on provision users, this is the page I land on. If I click on an identity provider, it's going to ask me to choose another identity provider because I got Azure already selected. Manual download, this is actually from where you download the template as well, and so on. And this is the option we're interested in right now. Once I click on Active Directory, I'm going to show you those options. Before that, I wanted to show you how manual upload would look like. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on, or I can start with IDP. If I click on IDP, here you see I got other options as well, Okta and other. So because Azure is already selected, I've already configured Azure, so therefore you see it as a gray option, like you cannot select it, right? Manual upload is something I want to show you real quick. So if I click on next, this is where you basically download a template from in which you enter the user information. Once you download it, enter the user details, then you go ahead and drag and drop that file in here, the CSV file, right? Or just click to select that file and just upload it here. So once you're done with that, you click on done and it'll show you that, it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the Active Directory option now. Okay, so Active Directory, selected Active Directory, and gives you a little piece of information here about the prerequisites. You have to deploy an AD connector. Now, this deployment enables the retrieval of users and groups data from your Active Directory domain controller. I click on Next, and this is where you mention the domain controller. Just for now, this example, I'm going to show you, I'm going to say assign test, and then I'm going to say internal IP address is 1.1.1.1 because I've already configured the correct domain controller. So I'm just going to use some dummy information here. So although this is how you configure it, right? Then you have the domain. So I can say shujil.co.in. Okay, and then you have the Active Directory tag. Well, the Active Directory tag is a unique label that's used to identify your AD component. So um, I'll not change it. I'll keep it as default site. I'm not going to change that. And I'm going to go with next. I'm going to click on the button next that you see at the bottom right corner. Okay, once I click on next, it's going to show me the Active Directory server that I've already added, the domain controller. And it gives me an option to download the Active Directory connector from here. And this is the domain controller information that I previously added. So yeah, it gives you all this information. And yeah, it does take some time to pop up here. The information pops here in some time. It takes some time, but anyways. So initially you might not see it as a green. So do not worry, give it some time. If you've configured everything correctly, it will turn green. So that's not a problem. Okay, so coming back to the connector, once you download the connector, it will be downloaded as a zip file and it'll have two components. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you the zip. So the zip folder right here, OpenDNS Windows Service. I double click on this as well. And then you got to double click on setup. I already have it installed. You just need to do next, next, next. It's going to ask you for the password of that OpenDNS user that I was talking about. So if I go ahead and open up users and computers, directory users and computers. So basically this is the user I was talking about, OpenDNS connector. Well, it's important to make sure that you configure this one correctly. So you have to make sure that the SAM account name for this user is correctly configured. If I go to properties and then attribute editor, just remove that. Yes, so here go to SAM account name and make sure that it's OpenDNS underscore connector. Um, Sam, where are you? Okay, SAM account name, OpenDNS underscore connector. This is how it has to be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And there are a couple other, prerequisites as well that are mentioned in the user guide. I'm going to put a link in the description for that so that you can just go ahead and check those prerequisites out. I'm going to put a direct link for that. And yes, one important thing is to make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, put some comments in there, share it with others. And yeah, you have a great day. I believe I've covered as much as possible, and the video is already longer than expected. I didn't want it to be that long, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm going to possibly cover securing private applications in the next video. If there's anything you want me to cover specifically, please do let me know. I'll be very happy to do that. Have a great day. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye.